Hey there, everybody. Thomas Wood with Basecamp Trading. It is Thursday, December 15th, and we're going to take a look at one of the setups from the futures trading room. Now, one thing I always tell people to do is make sure you're in the room right at 8 a.m. Eastern time, because that's when we open. It starts right on time. I think I've been late 2 or 3 times in the past 5 years. Okay, so we are always on time. And the reason we open right then is around between 8 and 9 a.m. oftentimes you'll get setups that will trigger in crude oil and in gold and in bonds. So those 3 markets, more than any others, we look for a setup to trade in that first hour. Now, one of the ones from this morning, we had a couple of them. We had the shorts in coffee, we had longs in bonds, and we had shorts in crude. Now, the shorts in crude were based off of this right here. You know how just the other day we were talking about a micro trend on the 30s and the 240-minute bear flag? Well, you had that same thing again today. Micro trend on the 30s and the 240-minute bear flag. Then, so your first entry would have been right over here around 50.90 on the trendline break and on the trigger of the bear flag on 240s. However, if that was too much risk for you, we had a secondary and a third entry, a second and a third entry on this micro trend right here using the 500 tick chart. Now, we have a few different indicators on here. One of them is the Trender Pro. Trender Pro changes red when it's a fast-moving downtrend, green when it's a fast-moving uptrend, blue when it's neutral. Well, you could see we were in a fast-moving downtrend on that 500 tick crude. We also had the NQ trend, which was a green on the direction, saying, hey, it is bearish. We'll watch for it to keep moving lower. Then right here, we had a micro trend, just like we had on the 30-minute chart, but on the 500 tick, much smaller time frame. That gave you an entry on the trendline break at 49, with a stop at 58, or the secondary entry was what we call a last kiss. Once support has broken the trend line, it bounces back up and retests the broken trend line now as resistance. And that's a re-entry, and that would have given you a re-entry at about 43. Either way, it ended up proceeding to sell off all the way down until it changed back to neutral on the Trender Pro at about 50.05. So great job today for those of you that took the shorts in crude oil. They worked out really well. And once again, make sure you're in the room right at the start, because that's when we have a lot of good setups oftentimes in crude oil, bonds, and gold. All right, that's all I have for you for today. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. And until next time, happy trading.